Chicago and the Philippines. A comprehensive review of the week's special community events, featuring many exciting personalities, handled by the most professional Chicago Philippine Reports TV staff.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Chicago Philippine Reports TV, still the #1 Filipino show in the Midwest. I'm Girly Pascual. Welcome to our show. Today we have all the top stories from the Philippines. We also have what's happening in our own Filipino-American community of Chicago. We have interesting interviews led by our very own executive producer, Miss Veronica Layton. We have Bridget Cotero Carino. All these are coming up and more afterward from our sponsors. Please stay with us.
Yan! Dito na! Perfect!
A resolution passed by the Philippine Senate urging house arrest for former President Rodrigo Duterte was met with strong opposition from some House lawmakers. ML Party List Representative Laila De Lima sees the resolution as a step backwards. She said what should be voted upon is the Philippines' return as a member of the ICC. The Makabayan bloc in the House of Representatives condemned the resolution, calling it a brazen attempt to obstruct justice and protect a mass murderer. For ICC Assistant to Counsel Attorney Cristina Conti, this move should be raised by prosecutors to show that Duterte still wields considerable influence in the Philippines.
I would think that the prosecutor will raise this as fact, as proof that Duterte indeed still has significant national clout. And it would thus be impossible or very troublesome if he were to return to the Philippines.
Senate Resolution 144 was authored by Senate Minority Leader Alan Peter Cayetano along with Senate Majority Leader Juan Miguel Zubiri.
One thing we don't want to do is to see the former president suffer as if it is a punishment when he has not been convicted. I cannot imagine what the country will do if something, I don't want to say it, but if something happens with him in the detention center at wala man tayong ginawa.
With this argument, Cayetano appealed to his fellow senators to support the resolution citing humanitarian considerations. Zubiri echoed this, adding he wants the country to move forward.
Walang political color to. It's just for humanitarian reasons. We want our country to move forward.
3 senators voiced strong objections, citing the call for justice of thousands of drug war victims.
Libo-libo ang pinatay. Libo-libo pa ang nawalan ng ama, ng ina, ng anak, na ang hiling ay hustisya. Bilang chairman ng Committee on Justice and Human Rights, nais ko man pumanig sa isang banda, tungkulin kong pumanig sa mga daing ng naghahanap ng hustisya. I vote no.
Wala pong indikasyon na ang ICC ay nagpapabaya sa pagbantay sa kalusugan at kagalingan ng mga taong nasa kustodiya nila. May panayam rin po ilang araw ang nakalilipas kung saan sinabi ng pamilya ni former President Rodrigo Duterte na he is well, even jolly, at kaya pa ngang makipag-usap tungkol sa maraming topic.
In the end, the Senate approved the resolution with 15 voting in favor, 3 against, and 2 abstaining, Senate President Vicente Soto III and Senator Raffy Tulfo. 4 senators were absent during the voting. The resolution urged the ICC to designate a physician or doctor to examine if Duterte is fit to withstand regular detention given his old age and alleged deteriorating health. A house arrest is requested if the medical findings show that his condition will worsen due to continued detention. The resolution assured that there will be no risk to the integrity of the trial since the house arrest or similar arrangement will follow the ICC's conditions. It also pointed out that Article 10 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights provides that humane treatment will be accorded to all persons deprived of liberty. Vice President Sara Duterte earlier said she wants her father to be brought home to Davao City if their request for interim release is granted. The ICC registry, meanwhile, informed the pre-trial chamber that its medical officer is not authorized to give an assessment on Duterte's fitness to stand trial. Back in August, the defense team requested for an indefinite adjournment of proceedings. It said Duterte is not fit for trial because of cognitive impairment and that his condition will not improve. The pretrial chamber ordered the registry to provide a report from the medical officer. The registry argued that this is not covered by the medical officer's mandate and ethical duties.
Senate, good afternoon to all of you.
After his name was mentioned by Justice Secretary Jesus Crispin Remulla regarding the ongoing probe on allegedly anomalous flood and other infrastructure projects, Senator Mark Villar said he welcomes and fully supports any investigation as he has nothing to hide. Villar, who served as Secretary of the Department of Public Works and Highways during the Duterte administration, stressed that he has no direct nor indirect ownership nor controlling interest in any company participating in government projects. He also said official record confirms that none of his relatives acquired any contract during his tenure as secretary. On Wednesday, Remulla said Villar is among those being investigated over allegedly anomalous flood control as well as other infrastructure projects. Remulla noted that a relative of Villar was involved in projects totaling more than 18 billion pesos.
First kasi niya yung contractor doon sa lugar nila. So, that's a prohibited interest.
According to DOJ Assistant Secretary Mico Clavano, a prohibited interest is any financial stake of a senator or congressman in government contracts during their term of office. Clavano adds, this is prohibited to ensure lawmakers serve only the public's interest and not their own. Also being investigated are former Senator Cynthia Villar and Senator Camille Villar.
Siyempre, kasama rin yan. That prohibited interest, it really has to stop. Well, isa lang yan. Marami yan. It's all over the Philippines. People know it.
Remulla welcomed the willingness of Senator Mark Villar to cooperate with the ongoing investigations on government projects.
Kasi, ikaklaro natin lahat yan. We have to get all the records. Alam niyo naman, ang dami-dami natin trabaho dito. But we have to deal with each one of them carefully. Each case, each different case, and each one is a different count.
He also mentioned that there was an effort from the camp of the Villars to set a meeting with him.
Wala pa ako response. Kasi nga, I'd rather it be done officially. Transparently, officially, across the board. Para walang masabi na he said, she said.
The Independent Commission for Infrastructure has sent a letter to Senator Villar inviting him to attend its next hearing on October 7. Meanwhile, the Commission on Audit has filed a fresh audit report with the fact-finding body regarding so-called paid ghost projects in Bulacan. According to the audit report, some flood control projects under the DPWH Bulacan 1st District Engineering Office do not exist or were transferred to another location and had irregularities. Among those flagged by COA are projects by Sims Construction Trading, Top Notch Catalyst Builders Incorporated, and 888 Construction and Supply Incorporated. So far, COA has brought 17 fraud audit reports to the ICI and the Ombudsman.
Yan! Dito na! Perfect!
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down and down. It's happened during every economic cycle, and it will happen again. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value and sometimes grows during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. and learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
Do you need to get your hands on some extra money right now? Maybe $25,000 or more? If you're a homeowner, now is the perfect time to get cash out. While homes in many neighborhoods like yours have gone up in value, you can use the money for anything. It's yours. You can buy an investment property, pay for college, pay off higher interest debt, or make home improvements. A cash out refinance is the perfect solution to get the cash you need. If you need $25,000, $50,000, or even $100,000, now's the time. Home values are up, and so is your equity. We offer you a way to use it. No need to sell your home or use your savings. Call New American Funding now and speak to a cash out refi specialist and see how much cash out you can get.
Call New American Funding at 855-332-3929. That's 855-332-3929. Call 855-332-3929.
Via Times, vital news, vibrant views for the Filipino Asian communities in Chicago. Via Times for your most interesting and exciting reading and your party coverages. Via Times has very interesting columnists. You name it, Via Times has it. Law, Filipino news, dentistry, immigration, humor, serious opinions, health, beauty, mysticism, Bata Corner, showbiz, and intelligently written editorials. Call Via Times at 773-866-0811.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat and welcome to Veronica's segment of the show today. I'm really very honored to have here with me a very respectable person. He is a professor emeritus and he's a book author. And he's here with us today, and his name is Professor or Dr. Bradley Buchanan. Welcome to our show, Professor Buchanan. And I'm interviewing you today regarding your new book, which was recently released, entitled Spy's Mate. And Spy's Mate was written, or the background story is during the late Cold War era Soviet Union. Anyone who's familiar with that will reveal the age, the old age. Okay.
It wasn't that long ago.
Right. And Professor Buchanan is chess enthusiast and poetry writer, and now he really is. This is his first time to write to be a creative writer. Believe it or not, I think he's a genius. I have a genius here. I'm really honored. Welcome to our show, Dr. Buchanan.
Thank you so much, Veronica. I hope to live up to that genius label, but I'm not so sure I will.
You are not?
I'm not sure I can live up to the genius label, but thank you.
All right. Okay. Well, I like to give respect to people who have really spent time studying and earning a degree of doctor. Okay. All right. Mr. Buchanan. Yeah, we're back. We're back to. Okay. You wrote, this is your first time to write a novel, and the title is Spice Mate. And you, as a chess enthusiast, really, your focus actually is on chess. Why did you write? I mean, many people are not really chess players or enthusiasts, but why did you write a book centering on this era of Cold War, uh, with focusing with chess?
Well, thank you for that question. Yeah, in the last days of the Soviet Union, um, the Russians, the Soviets, used chess as a propaganda tool because they had some very strong players and produced a lot of world champions. And they saw chess as a way of demonstrating the superiority over of the communist system, as you know, compared against capitalism or free market and so forth. So they felt if they could control the elite levels of the chess world, they could demonstrate basically the communists were the smartest people around. And in doing so, they used a lot of dirty tricks. They would sort of conduct covert operations against their own citizens. If, for example, there were chess players who wanted to emigrate from Russia to Israel, let's say, because they didn't feel free in the Soviet Union, and those players were, you know, they were spied on basically, and persecuted to some extent, punished, marginalized, you know, and really treated pretty badly by the KGB, the Russian secret service of that era. And so at that time, chess was both really important for political reasons in the Soviet Union. And it was also a time when, yeah, there was a lot of spying going on behind the scenes uh, of the, you know, behind the Iron Curtain, as it used to be called, um, to sort of make sure that the top chess players in the world were not only from Russia, but were loyal communists. And I thought it would be amazing to write a novel about that period of time and to show what an outsider, like the hero of Spy's Mate, whose name is Yasha, what he has to go through and overcome in order to become the world chess champion when he is not, first of all, he is not a Russian. And secondly, he is not as devoted a communist as he might be. He just wants his freedom. But there's already a sitting world champion that the Soviet elites want to defend. And this was a problem that happened in the real world too, where Garry Kasparov, who may be the most famous chess player of all time, he had to overcome a lot uh, of resistance to face Anatoly Karpov, who was the sitting world champion, um, who was you know, a Russian and a more loyal communist than Kasparov was. Kasparov was an outsider and a free thinker. He was much more closely allied with Western ideas than with communism. But the Soviets thought to themselves, well, we already have a loyal communist world champion. What do we need with a different world champion? So the story is partly inspired by Kasparov's successful struggle to overcome all of the odds that were stacked against him in becoming world champion. And really, the only way he could ever succeed was in beating Karpov over the board by just being a stronger player. Because if he'd been an average player, he might have, you know, been treated very badly because of his political views. So the same is true of Yasha. If Yasha, the hero of Spy's Mate, if he hadn't been such a strong player, he would have probably ended up in jail, or, as happens to one character in the novel, being killed by the KGB.
Were there specific historical or real life individuals in your mind when you wrote this novel?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, one very famous American player named Bobby Fischer, who was also a world chess champion, he always accused the Russians of conspiring against him. And he was actually right about that. The way it would work would be in a big chess tournament, the Russian players would make easy draws with each other. They would agree basically to have the game be a tie, where they'd each get half a point and expend no effort, but they would fight against Bobby Fischer or any other foreign grandmaster. They would fight to the death, and make things very difficult for that outsider to win the tournament. And the same thing happens to some extent in Spy's Mate.
Knowing your background, it must really be very challenging on your part to be transitioning from poetry to academic writing and to writing a novel.
Yeah.
How did you do it?
Well, I had to discipline myself to sit down every single day in front of my computer, and I tried to write somewhere between 700 and 1,000 words every day to just get the story moving forward. And yeah, it was very challenging because I mean, poetry, you don't write on a schedule. It kind of it decides when you're going to write it. You have to be inspired by a sort of a special something in the air that you want to write about. But when you sit down to write a novel, and this is not the first novel I've written, even though it's the first novel I've published, um, if you want to write a novel, you have to set yourself a schedule. You have to say, I want to finish this number of words or this number of pages by a certain date. And so I really had to just sit my butt in the chair and work every day. And sometimes it would take, an hour to write that amount of words. Other days it would be much slower, more difficult going because I'd have to work out plot complications. I'd have to figure out connections between characters. So I devised all kinds of ways to make that process easier for me. I made little cards with each scene on it, and I would shuffle the cards around and try to arrange the cards in the right sequence of events because there's a bunch of different plot lines in Spies Mate. We're following Yasha and his journey from where he's living with his very sick mother on one storyline, and then on another storyline, we're tracing what's happening in the KGB headquarters where they are deciding to, find the next generation of great uh, players to go and manipulate them. And then we have other plot lines coming in with politicians, with American characters. Anyway, lots of different things to think about. And so, yeah, it took all of my brain and a lot of paper and pens and whiteboards worth of planning to execute this novel. And I'm very proud of it. There were also challenges in creating the chess diagrams that are in the book. And I think it's almost unique in a work of fiction to have chess diagrams in the text where the reader can follow the games as if they're happening in real life in front of them. So that they can see how the positions are evolving as the games are unfolding. And for a long time, I had no idea how to create those positions in the text, and it took me ages to figure out how to do it, and to make sure there were no mistakes in those diagrams was also very time consuming. And then, of course, I had to get a bunch of chess experts to check those diagrams and make sure they made sense. So yeah, there were all kinds of fun challenges to overcome. And I think with a team of my publishers and the people I showed the novel to in its early drafts, I think we've done a pretty good job of meeting all of those challenges. But yeah, they were completely unique challenges that I'd never faced before, as your question rightly implies. So, great question. Thank you.
Okay. You also have some kind of a medical problem when you were writing the book, and how were you able to accomplish finishing the book and fighting some kind of a medical problem that you're experiencing right now?
Yeah, well, I have a chronic illness right now that involves sort of daily pain that I have to live with, and physical limitations that I have to adapt to. But they all trace back to some really terrible health problems. About 10 years ago, I was diagnosed with blood cancer, and I had to have a stem cell transplant in 2016. And that transplant itself almost killed me. It saved my life, of course, because I was going to die of cancer if I didn't have that transplant. But the transplant itself was very rocky. And so I've basically spent the last 10 years dealing with cancer and then the side effects of the treatments that I had to have for cancer. So, I used to do a lot of sports. I used to play hockey and soccer and go running many times a week. And now I can't do any of that. So I have to exercise my brain really instead of my body to some extent. So I've found that writing is a very powerful resource. Also, playing chess is a great way to keep your brain active. You burn a lot of calories playing chess, oddly enough, and so it's a way to stay in shape in a certain sense. Though my body has certainly gone through its share of pain and suffering over the past 10 years or so. I've had to live through a lot, but I also had to retire from my teaching job as a result of my medical problems. So I'm now free to focus on writing projects like Spies Mate. So there has been a silver lining in that dark cloud.
I'm sorry to hear that, Professor Buchanan, and I wish you well. Wish you well, and
Thank you.
good luck to your undertakings. And okay, where can our audience pick up a copy of your book?
Well, it's available now for ordering on Amazon.com, Spies Mate, a novel, and that's spelled SPY''SMATE. It's also, if you're not an Amazon.com person, you can order it through a local bookstore on bookshop.org. And that'll ship out in a couple of weeks, so very soon.
Well, all right. Thank you so much for gracing our show today. And you can always keep us updated with regards to your following novels.
Thank you so much, Veronica. Yeah, I appreciate that very much. And in fact, my publisher has already asked me to write a sequel to Spies Mate because the pre-orders have been very successful. There's been a lot of folks expressing interest, and he already knows he wants to publish Spies Mate 2 or whatever that sequel will be called. So that's a fun thing to look forward to.
Great. Thank you. Maraming salamat, Professor Buchanan. And we really appreciate you appearing to our show today. At maraming salamat po sa inyong panonood. Ako po si Veronica. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye now.
This is a prayer and a reminder. All we have is now. Anak, umuwi ka na.
Worldwide this morning, growing concern over a growing health crisis.
The World Health Organization has just declared that this is a pandemic.
I can't hug you. Don't touch me.
Over the last several days, we have seen peaceful demonstrations.
Protests over police brutality continued here in Austin.
Remember when you started going to college? You came home a liberal?
Dad, please.
That's what we do to you guys in school.
All these people that we never met and never will meet because of what had happened to them. It's just too much.
The way that our family communicates is not necessarily, it's not great.
What advice would you give for those of us that are struggling?
Deal with it.
Yeah.
I think the norm for our communities has been to just stay silent and keep to your own business.
I could definitely be doing more than I'm doing right now, and I know that others can as well.
What if someone is called from God to be an activist?
I can answer the question.
Shouting revolution, oh wow, breaking each tradition.
You don't believe in the Black Lives Matter movement?
An advocacy group reporting at least 3,800 anti-Asian hate incidents since last March.
I'm kind of conflicted. I'm like, maybe I should move home and be here with them.
I hope that this moment makes you take a step forward and a step together in the right direction.
In order for a subject to not be taboo in our community, there always has to be someone to start that conversation.
Yeah. You speak up for me when I can't speak up for myself. And I've seen you do that for other people.
I see a lot of people who just kind of cut off friends and family, and I don't think I can do that. I love my parents.
This is a symbol of our voices. If you look at your neighbors around you, you will see who stands with you, who stands for you.
At least I know that you can stand up. That's the thing I'm so happy about.
It's more fun in the Philippines.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat and welcome to Veronica's segment of this show. Today, I have a very exciting guest from the Philippine Consulate General of Chicago. And she's one of the consuls assigned here in Chicago lately. And her name is Consul Ella Mitra. There's another name. Oh, you have a second name.
Karina, Miss Veronica.
Okay.
Ella Karina, yeah.
All right. Welcome to our show.
Thank you, Miss Veronica.
And as one of the consuls assigned here in Chicago from Manila, what is your duties? What are your duties and responsibilities?
I oversee the cultural and public diplomacy portfolio of the consulate, and I also function as the administrative officer of the consulate. So I wear two hats. One is for cultural, another one for admin.
Cultural and
admin, administrative officer. I'm administrative officer.
Yeah. So there are four of you, or three or four of you assigned.
Three consuls po. So there's two others, Consul Melvin Almonguera and Consul Maria Teresa Alders.
Great, terrific. Okay. We welcome you here in Chicago.
Thank you po.
Nice to have a very good-looking consul. Okay. I invited you here today to talk about an upcoming event to be held at the Newberry Library here in Chicago. What is the Newberry Library? First thing, for those people who really don't know or never heard about Newberry Library.
Yeah, Newberry Library is actually a private library here in Chicago, but unknown to many Filipinos here in Chicago, Newberry has a lot of Filipiniana items in their collection. So they have a vast Rizaliana collection, so like manuscripts, correspondences of Dr. Jose Rizal, as well as other materials. They have the Murillo Velarde map, one of the 8, I think, in the whole world. So they have a vast collection which was acquired in 1800s by the library. So it is actually a private collection of a person named Edward Ayer, and then he donated the collection to the library.
Great. Terrific. Oh, so their section, the Philippine section must really be large. Have you been? I have never been inside the
Yeah.
Newberry Library, but I've heard about it.
It is mostly Tita for research. So much of their collection, like the manuscripts, you cannot access without prior request. So you have to fill out a request and then submit it to them, and then they bring it out, and then that's the only time you can view it. Because a lot of them um are very delicate. So and they're not in the public area, so they're stored. So you have to request access before you can see them.
So it has to be arranged
Yes,
with the
the library.
librarian then.
Mm.
Okay, and then they will be collecting or gathering all the information. I mean, the information or the books that you would be
Yes,
reading
yes.
are.
So if you want to see the original manuscripts of Dr. Jose Rizal, you can visit the library, and then you can request access. We actually have, Tita, a video which we released last year. It is a walking tour, a virtual video, a virtual walking tour of Newberry Library. So we asked the personnel of Newberry Library to talk about the different collection of Newberry, like the different Filipiniana collection.
All right. Okay. When is the event with the Professor Ambeth Ocampo? Now, when is it going to be held? Please announce it to our viewing audience.
There are actually two events. The first one is in October 23 to 24 at the Newberry Library. This is a symposium organized by Newberry Library together with the Philippine Consulate and the University of Chicago. So this is entitled um, Sim- Philippine Philippine life under Spanish colonization or during the Spanish period. So it's pre-colonial Philippines. So Professor Ambeth Ocampo will be the keynote speaker, and then there are other notable guests during the symposium. And then the other one is on the 25th. This one is the one organized by the consulate, still at the Newberry Library. But this one will talk about specifically Dr. Jose Rizal and the Rizaliana collection of Newberry Library. So this is on October 25 at 11 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be for an hour only. And it's there at the Newberry Library. And then there's another event. We organized a lecture for Professor Ambeth Ocampo at the Northern Illinois University. So it's going to be on October 28th. It's entitled Reflections on the Abuses of Philippine History. So it will be held at the Asian American Resource Center and may also be accessed online.
All right. Well, the activities for October is really filling up. And it's also because October is also the Filipino American History Month, right?
Yes, Tita. That's why I think Newberry they timed it for October in celebration of Filipino American History Month.
You must really have your hands full being
every October.
Yeah, because you're the cultural officer. And but you're not handling the others. Like so many kababayans have been inquiring about, well, we are, the Via Times is also serving as the second consulate here. If they have questions, so they ask us. So number one question that they ask is, when do they always have to make an appointment to go to the Philippine consulate?
For passports, and they have to set an appointment, but if they are senior citizen, they can just walk in. And for other transactions like notarials, they can just walk in. Civil registry, it's via mail po. Dual citizenship, it's also via mail. So we can pre-process the documents before we ask the client to come here. But passport, if they're a senior citizen or if they have an urgent need for a passport, they can just walk in. We try to accommodate everyone naman po.
Another question that we receive most of the time about the dual citizenship program that or job that you're handling at the consulate. So what are really the requirements needed that they have to produce when they go there? Or
So
do they have to make an appointment to do that?
yes. So they need to send an email with the documents, with photocopy, with the scanned copies of the documents, so we can pre-process and check if they're lacking anything. So for the dual citizenship, I'll just pull out my I'll just pull out my código.
Código, okay.
So there are a lot of requirements. So one is of course the application form, original birth certificate issued by the Philippine Statistics Authority, original marriage certificate if married, if married. So if in the Philippines, we need the one issued by the PSA. If married here in the US, so issued by the US government authority. For divorced, annulled, or widowed applicants, whichever is applicable, we need the original divorce decree, and or the original authenticated recognition of divorce issued by the Philippine court, and the original annotated marriage contract for annulled people, and then copy of U.S. naturalization certificate, copy of Philippine passport, and copy of U.S. passport. I know there's a lot.
Okay. Consul, okay. This is a very important question. How does the Philippine consulate handle the current crisis of illegal immigrants here in the U.S.?
Tita, actually, this portfolio is handled by Consul Melvin Almonguera. So what we usually tell clients is that if they encounter any problems, they can contact the consulate, and we can ask for assistance from the Department of Foreign Affairs in Manila if they need any form of assistance. But if it's consular related, like if they need consular documents, of course we can assist with that right away. But for other assistance, the Department of Foreign Affairs is they have resources for that po. So we can convey the request to them and then subject to their approval.
All right, very good. So far, are there many cases that you have handled so far?
Tita, actually, I'm not privy to the information because again, it's Consul Melvin handling assistance to nationals. So we each have distinct portfolios here. So I don't know what he's handling po.
Okay, one last question.
Apo.
Not really the second to the last question. Okay, how do you like Chicago so far? As
It's very nice. The community is very engaging. They're very engaged, very helpful. So it's making our life easier that everyone is so nice, willing to work with us. everyone is easy to talk to. So I really like it. And the city is very beautiful.
Wow. All right. Well, we really appreciate your work that you've been doing here for us here in Chicago. And we thank you very much for the hard work that you've been doing. And okay, one last word. Oh, about the arrival and appearance of Professor Ambeth Ocampo regarding the Newberry library documents that he's going to be discussing with the Filipinos here.
Sorry, what about it? So
about the documents and materials that the Newberry library about the Philippines and how the Filipinos, the kababayans, can access some of the materials that they would like to use in
okay.
in school.
So let me just reiterate, Tita. We'd like to invite everyone to go to join the symposium of Professor Ambeth Ocampo on October 25th at the Newberry Library at 11 a.m. So this will be for an hour. Professor Ocampo will discuss the Rizaliana collection of Newberry Library. So this and how it would relate to the past and present of Philippine past and present. So also if they are unable to go on the 25th and they want to view the Rizaliana collection of Newberry Library, they can visit the website of Newberry Library and check for the procedure and how to access the Rizaliana collection and other Philippine collection po.
Very good, terrific, exciting, and I thank you very much for
Thank you, Miss Veronica. Thank you so
gracing
much
our
po.
show today.
Thank you so much for being a friend of the consulate. Thank you very much po.
You're welcome, and also, well, it will really always be nice to be seeing you around in some of our community functions.
Present, Tita, and the community events. We're everywhere.
Okay. Consul Ella Mitra. Remember the beautiful face.
Thank you po, Tita.
Maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat din po.
Okay. Bye now.
Bye po.
It's more fun in the Philippines.
We would like to welcome all of you to Baladna Jewelry. We have a very big selection of 21 karat gold jewelry imported from the Middle East, from Dubai, Saudi, and Bahrain. And we have a very big selection of diamond. We offer free financing for 6 months, and we have a layaway system which you can leave your stuff for 3 months. We repair gold and we buy old gold. Welcome to Baladna Jewelry.
Salamat po.
Good afternoon. This is Bridget Krinoquecha bringing you this week's local news from our community. October is Infant Safe Sleep Awareness Month, and the Illinois Department of Children and Family Services is reminding parents and caregivers of 3 steps they can take to create a safe sleep environment for infants in their care. It's as simple as ABC. Infants should always be placed to sleep alone, on their backs, and in a safe crib. Unsafe sleep practices are a leading cause of death for infants across the United States, with 126 Illinois infants losing their lives before their first birthday in 2024. These tragic and often preventable deaths frequently stemmed from accidental suffocation due to infants being placed to sleep somewhere other than a crib or bassinet, sharing an adult's bed, or sleeping with soft bedding or other items in the crib. Infants save and prevent the heartbreaking loss of infant lives is very important. The Illinois Environmental Protection Agency Acting Director James Jennings today announced the dates for the next EV rebate program application cycle, as well as updates to the program that reflect legislation passed by the Illinois General Assembly in 2025. Program requirements are included on the Illinois EPA's EV rebate program webpage. The next application cycle for the EV rebate program will open Tuesday, October 28, 2025, and run through Saturday, January 31, 2026. The Illinois General Assembly has appropriated $14 million to the Illinois EPA for the current fiscal year 26, which ends on June 30, 2026. Actual funding amounts will be determined by the amount of money available in the Electric Vehicle Rebate Fund. Rebates will be issued to eligible individuals as funding is available. 100 military troops are being requested for Illinois by the Trump administration, according to Governor J.B. Pritzker, who says the Trump administration is authoritarian. But the feds say the deployment is necessary to quell coordinated attacks by radical extremists on immigration agents who are doing their jobs. Pritzker said he got word about the deployment to Chicago, but didn't have specifics. Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Giannoulias unveiled the new Orland Park DMV facility, which will continue to offer critical services to the surrounding community. The new location will offer extended hours in addition to expanded services, including road exams. The new Orland Park DMV is now at 18230 Orland Parkway. The appointment-only location will be open Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and offers everything from driver services like driver's license renewals and real IDs to vehicle services like vehicle registration and renewal stickers. The Illinois Department of Insurance announces that $19.6 million was returned to consumers this year from lost or unclaimed life insurance policies and annuities, thanks to the Life Policy Locator service available to consumers at no charge. September is Life Insurance Awareness Month, an ideal time to remind Illinoisans to use the free Life Policy Locator tool on our website if they believe they are a beneficiary of a deceased loved one's unclaimed policy, said IDOI Director Ann Gillespie. Illinois requires insurance companies to attempt to find the beneficiaries of deceased policyholders when life insurance or annuity proceeds remain unpaid. We want to help people claim those benefits. That's all for today. Thank you for watching our news this week. This is Bridget. See you next time.
This is a prayer and a reminder. All we have is now. Anak, umuwi ka na.
Worldwide this morning, growing concern over a growing health crisis.
The World Health Organization has just declared that this is a pandemic.
Hi. I can't hug you. Don't touch me.
Over the last several days, we have seen peaceful demonstrations.
Protests over police brutality continued here in Austin.
Remember when you started going to college? You came home a liberal?
Dad, please.
That's what we do to you guys in school.
All these people that we never met and never will meet because of what had happened to them. It's just too much.
The way that our family communicates is not necessarily, it's not great.
What advice would you give for those of us that are struggling?
Deal with it.
I think the norm for our community has been to just stay silent and like keep to your own business.
I could definitely be doing more than I'm doing right now, and I know that others can as well.
What if someone is called from God to be an activist?
I can answer that question.
Shouting revolution, oh wow, breaking each tradition.
You don't believe in the Black Lives Matter movement?
An advocacy group reporting at least 3,800 anti-Asian hate incidents since last March.
I'm kind of conflicted. I'm like, maybe I should move home and be here with them.
I hope that this moment makes you take a step forward and a step together in the right direction.
In order for a subject to not be taboo in our community, there always has to be like someone to start that conversation.
You speak up for me when I can't speak up for myself. And I've seen you do that for other people.
I see a lot of people who just kind of cut off friends and family, and I don't think I can do that. I love my parents.
This is a symbol of our voices. If you look at your neighbors around you, you will see who stands with you, who stands for you.
At least I know that you can stand up. That's the thing I'm so happy about.
Yan! Dito na!